What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about my 4 favorite supplements that help improve jiu-jitsu performance while also avoiding the very obvious ones like protein powder. The first 2 supplements you may be familiar with. I'm saving the special ones for the very end, so make sure you stick around because I can almost promise you aren't using these. And if you are using these last 2, well, good on you. You're probably smarter than you think. And just as a disclaimer guys, I'm not a doctor, I'm not your doctor, I'm not a medical professional. This video is for entertainment purposes only. These are things that have worked for me. This is my opinion, and I'm here to show it to you because it may help you. I don't want this to be a long, drawn out scientific video. I want this to be short and straight to the point. So without further gum bumping, let's jump into the video. Now keep in mind, this is purely my opinion. I'm drawing from the 7 years of experience I've had. I've played around with a lot of supplements to see what works well, and I've had a lot of bad experiences and a lot of good ones. For those of you that have taken pre-workout before a tournament or a fight, you probably know what I'm talking about, and don't worry, we will cover that. So first up on the list, good old-fashioned, longtime friend, creatine monohydrate. You might find yourself saying, creatine monohydrate? Really? I didn't see that one coming. Give me a second, let me explain. Remember, we're talking specifically for jiu-jitsu performance in this video. We're not talking about gym bro science. We're not talking about weightlifting and bodybuilding and powerlifting. This is jiu-jitsu performance only. Creatine monohydrate is one of the safest and most researched supplements in the entire game right now. Plus, it's very, very affordable. The main reason why this supplement is making this list today is because it helps muscle cells produce more energy while also helping produce more muscle growth. Jiu-jitsu can be a tiring, exhausting art. If you have any bodybuilding or powerlifting in your background, you know as well as I do that jiu-jitsu is not great for building a large muscular frame. Back when I started jiu-jitsu as a brand new white belt, I was powerlifting and bodybuilding, and I did in fact lose some weight just because of the nature of the art itself. Whether you're drilling or you're sparring in matches of 5 to 10 minutes apiece, you're not building large muscle fibers here. You're building more of a lean frame when you do jiu-jitsu. So I love creatine because it helps put that size back on. Now, being big and hulking isn't really conducive to jiu-jitsu. Now, do we have some guys on the pro level making it happen? Absolutely. I personally like to maintain some thickness. I don't want to be a super lean guy. I want to have some musculature to myself. I want to have some aesthetics. I want to feel confident when I take my shirt off. So I like to maintain as much size as I can while still being athletic, and creatine helps me do just that. Now you can go out and get any old creatine monohydrate, but I specifically love this one from Veg because it comes with Peak O2. If you haven't heard of Peak O2, all it is a mushroom blend that helps increase oxygen uptake, and anything that does that will help increase your performance on the mats. Enhanced oxygen uptake will improve things like power output, VO2 max, boosted workout duration and intensity. All of these things are highly useful in a jiu-jitsu environment, especially when we're training for a tournament or a fight. Veg Nutrition is the only brand I know of that puts this in their creatine, so if you want to try it, my discount code is at the bottom. Make sure you check it out because this stuff is game-changing. Creatine monohydrate is already good by itself, and then you put Peak O2 in it, game changer. Just a couple creatine tips before we move on to the next supplements. You don't need to take more than 5 grams a day. Anytime you do that, you're risking upsetting your stomach. I know guys that take 10 grams a day and they wonder why they have diarrhea all the time. Just stick to 5 grams. Also, you don't need a loading phase. Loading phases are really great for 2 things and 2 things only: wasting your money and bloating. Skip the loading phase, just do 5 grams a day and you're gonna be fine. It'll take about 2 weeks for you to begin to feel the effects of creatine, and it's well worth the wait. I highly recommend this one. Next on the list from Veg Nutrition is their Nitro Pump. Now, I really like this stuff because it's stimulant free. As I mentioned earlier in the video, those of you who have tried pre-workouts before a fight, before a tournament, you know how terrible of an idea this is. Unless you're pretty hard-headed, it only takes 1 tournament or 1 fight to realize you should never do this again. Pre-workout that has stimulants in it are great for short durations of exercise, like something you'd be doing in the weight room when you're deadlifting or bench pressing, not when you're fighting another human being for 5 to 10 minutes straight. Anytime we're doing any kind of a high-energy aerobic-based exercise like a jiu-jitsu tournament or a fight, pre-workout with stimulants in it is probably something you want to avoid unless you like gassing out, losing all power in your grips, and feeling like you're about to have a heart attack. That was my experience with it, and from anyone I've ever talked to that's taken pre-workout with stimulants before a tournament, it's always been the same thing. So if you've never tried this before, do yourself a favor and take it from me and everyone else who's done this. Don't take pre-workout stimulants before your tournament, which is exactly why I like the Nitro Pump. It is free of any major stimulants. Now, there is a very little bit of caffeine in this from coffee beans, but it's nothing that's going to hurt you, especially in a tournament environment. What it does have is ingredients like citrulline and beetroot powder, which is going to increase the nitrates in your blood, thus opening up your blood vessels, giving you better blood flow. And as you know, when we get better blood flow, we get better oxygen uptake. When we get better blood flow, we get better athletic performance without any of the stimulants making you feel like you're gassing out or having a heart attack. What I like to do is take 1 scoop and mix it with 32 ounces or 1 liter of water, and I'm just going to sip that through my training. Not only will you get a pump from this just doing jiu-jitsu alone, but you're going to get better blood flow and you're going to feel that your cardio has improved a little bit. And while this isn't some magic drug that's going to make you a cardio monster, this will help give you a little bit of an edge when you're training. I highly recommend trying it. Next up, 3 out of the 4 supplements we're covering today is going to be the Veg Essentials. Inside one of these pills, you're going to have B12, D3, K2, and omega-3. This is a bit of a powerhouse all wrapped up into one pill. So for you plant-based athletes out there, you're going to need to take a B12 anyways, and this is one of the reasons why I take this one, but probably not the main reason. Now, you don't have to be plant-based to take vitamin B12, but remember, all of these supplements have multiple benefits, and we're only covering the ones that have to do or relate with jiu-jitsu performance. The benefits of B12 as it applies to this video would be improved energy, red blood cell formation, and it may even help with bone health. And I think it's pretty easy to see how all 3 of these things could play a part in jiu-jitsu performance. Energy being the top of the list, we need energy to perform well, especially athletically and intensely. Red blood cell formation, because if we don't have enough red blood cells, we're going to have a lack of oxygen being transported to the muscles, which will decrease performance. And we all know what happens if our bones are weak and we're doing jiu-jitsu. It's an art that's designed to break bones and joints. So you have to make sure your bones are healthy and strong. The other 2 heavy hitters in this supplement are very important, D3 and K2. Now, first off, D3 is really important, especially for us guys, because if you're deficient in vitamin D3, which is what we get from sunshine, your testosterone levels will take a hit. If you live in an area where you're not getting at least 20 to 30 minutes of direct sunlight a day, you could be at risk for vitamin D3 deficiency. And if you are deficient in this vitamin, there's a very good chance that your testosterone levels will suffer. I live in Northeast Ohio, and I by no means get enough sunlight, especially in the long winter months. So I make sure to supplement with my D3. It makes me feel amazing. It keeps my testosterone levels high. If you're in a similar circumstance as me, I highly suggest you get on some D3 because it will help you. What's really interesting about K2 and D3 is that K2 by itself regulates blood clotting, but when you combine it with D3, they both come together to help improve bone strength and heart health. I think we're starting to see a pattern here. In jiu-jitsu, we do push our bones to the limit because sometimes we can't tap fast enough. And a lot of times you're putting a lot of pressure on your own bones, just trying to get to your own submissions and your own positions of advantage. So it's very important to have strong bones. Also, at the same time, having a strong, healthy heart. Having a healthy heart in jiu-jitsu is equally important. You and I both know if you've been training for a bit, you've probably pushed pretty close to your max heart rate before, especially when you spar. It's really important to take care of your heart, and the combination of D3 and K2 will do just that. Lastly, in this supplement, omega-3. Now, omega-3 has many benefits, but as it applies to jiu-jitsu performance, it's very good for helping fight inflammation. It's actually been known to help relieve some of the symptoms from rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune condition, but because it does decrease inflammation, it can help relieve symptoms from regular arthritis. Ironically, I am scheduled for elbow surgery next month, as I was a stubborn white belt who didn't like to tap to arm bars, and now I have bone spurs that need to be removed from my left elbow. In the process of finding out this is what was going on, we discovered I also have arthritis in that elbow, probably from not tapping to arm bars. Unless you're about to win ADCC and you want to risk breaking your arm, then yeah, go ahead, but for the most part, you're going to want to tap to those. Trust me. Being that this is 4 very useful supplements in one, it is a powerhouse. I highly recommend it. I take 1 pill a day. That's all that's recommended. And after a couple weeks, you will start to notice a difference. And last but certainly not least, the most slept on supplement inside the whole jiu-jitsu community. I'll be extremely surprised if you guys are taking this, and that is BetaAlanine. Without getting too scientific, BetaAlanine is an amino acid, and when it combines with histidine, it makes the peptide carnosine inside your body. What's interesting about carnosine is that once it's present in your body, it helps buffer lactic acid buildup in your muscles. What's really interesting about that is it's been found that supplementing with carnosine is nowhere near as effective at improving physical performance as it is if you supplement with BetaAlanine. So by taking BetaAlanine, your body will more efficiently buffer lactic acid buildup in your muscles, thus giving you more stamina on the mats. Now, it'll take about 2 or 3 weeks to build this up. You have to take 2 to 5 grams every day and let it build up in your system. But once you hit that point, It's a pretty cool feeling. You can be completely out of breath, but your muscles will still have energy. Being that you're handling that lactic acid buildup in your muscles much better than you were before, it almost feels like your muscles just don't get tired. And let me tell you, that comes in handy on the mats, especially if you're training for a tournament or a fight. Currently, I'm taking 4 grams of beta-alanine every day before my morning training session. So trust me on this one, stay consistent with it, give it about 2 to 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you will start to notice that your muscles just don't feel like they're getting tired anymore. And you can thank me later. And those are my 4 favorite supplements for jiu-jitsu performance. If you have some of your own that I didn't mention today, please drop it down in the comments. We can all learn from each other. I know a lot of you guys are very knowledgeable with this stuff. Let's share some knowledge, let's help each other grow. And make sure to stick around, because not only do I have more jiu-jitsu content coming, I have more athlete recipes coming and more workouts coming. And until then, you know how we like to end them. Eat plants, train hard, and feel good. I'll see you in the next one. And just remember that supplements aren't used to close the gap between you and an opponent. They're used to give you an edge. You close the gap with training, intensity, long-term commitment, and consistency. Supplements are just for the edge. They don't fix your game. All right, time to go train. Put my goodies away.